And welcome to the TechnoBuffalo Show, episode 33. I'm one of your two hosts for today, Sean, editor-in-chief of the site, and I'm joined by executive editor of Mobile, Todd Hazelton.
Hey, everybody.
How are you doing today, Todd?
I'm good. We've had an exciting week.
It has been, and surprisingly so, considering who the event was.
Yeah, we had Microsoft yesterday, and I'm not saying Microsoft isn't exciting. I'm just saying it hasn't been one of those companies where you're expecting like crazy, groundbreaking news out of. Like, you get it. Windows Phone announcements are fun, and you get some some revamps, user interface, and stuff like that. And Windows 8 was pretty big, but it wasn't a company that ever had like one more thing, and in fact, yesterday it had two more things, and it was a really fun event actually. And I think I wrote an editorial on the site, but Microsoft's not really boring anymore. And I'm not saying Microsoft was boring, but I guess I am. It was like when you think of Microsoft, you think of cloud storage and enterprise and Windows, and you're like, I use Microsoft products all over the place, all the time. Xbox One, Windows Phone here and there, and but I've never just been like, wow. And yesterday, I think there were a couple wow moments during the event.
Well, during the event, when they first showed the Microsoft hologram and the HoloLens, we were all on a Skype call, as we always are during an event. And, you and I were in agreement, oh, this is a dream. It's not, it'll never get released. And all that, and then for them to come out and go, well, we've got a release time frame, and we've got working models.
I said yesterday when they started talking about HoloLens, I was telling Sean, like, nah, it's definitely hooked up to a full computer right now. There's no way that's going to launch or soon. And they're like, oh no, it's going to launch in the Windows 10 time frame, which I think means Windows 10 time frame, and maybe not when Windows 10 launches, but
exactly. And
later this year, 2016.
Exactly. I mean, Windows time frame could be 3 years, 4 years. So this does not mean that the HoloLens is coming out on the same day as Windows 10. It could be a year later. It could be a year and a half later. We don't know yet.
But apparently, the folks that saw it were really impressed by what they saw. Though I heard they were using very early prototypes, and they had to have a battery, like a big thing around their neck and stuff like that. So it makes you wonder.
It's prototype phase. I can forgive them for that right now.
Yeah.
The possible implications, though, the use cases of HoloLens, when they showed in the demo video, and this, oddly enough, is the most exciting thing to me. It was the daughter and father talking, and her fixing her plumbing,
right?
And him drawing, this is what you're going to tighten in these two spots, and the arrows appeared for her. You take that and you can apply it to medical. A specialist doctor, thousands of miles away could, be going right there. That's where the problem is.
Right.
That was mind-boggling to me. The practical, and yes, it was. Believe me, it was a lot of fun seeing the Minecraft, situation. But the potential life-saving capabilities of this were mind-boggling to me. And to me, this is the sort of thing that whenever we've watched futuristic movies, this is the sort of thing that I always knew was going to come along someday.
Yeah, just when.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hopeful. I'm excited for it. I think it will be great, if they can get it out. Of course, the big, huge elephant in the room is how much is it going to cost?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. As for the rest of the day, interesting to say the least. I mean, for those that don't know my history, I did use Microsoft as my operating system, and I say that instead of Windows as my operating system because I did actually start back on text-based DOS. I'm that old, kids. I used Microsoft for 25 years, and before I switched to Macs, and there's still some things. This is such a small thing and not worthy of being brought up at an event like that. Have they improved the update system at all?
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest annoyances to me with Microsoft products. You'd go to shut down your computer. Hi, I have 23 updates to install, and you can't turn me off till I'm done.
Yep, that happens to me all the time on my PC. It's nuts, and it drives me nuts too because you don't know how long it's going to take. Sometimes it's 20 minutes, and I'm like, what am I,
Yeah, exactly.
supposed to do?
Exactly.
Yep.
So I want to see. I'm excited for Windows 10, but I want to see that little things like that have been taken care of.
One of the things that I'm most excited about is that I said this the day before too on I guess it was Tuesday in an editorial saying like Microsoft needs to take advantage of this ecosystem they have and actually make it an ecosystem. And I think that's what the big message I walked away from yesterday is that Windows 10 is the heart of this whole ecosystem. So I mean they even said Windows 10 on Xbox, which sounds like like they're just going to call the software on Xbox Windows 10, but they are going to make it easy for developers who are making PC apps to port them to Xbox, which is awesome. And then, Cortana's going to expand from the desktop to your phone, OneDrive everywhere. They finally have a good Photos app, it looks like, which is OneDrive is ugly. I love it because it's pretty reliable, and Microsoft has a good reputation with cloud storage, but it's ugly, and it's pretty unbearable to use. But if you need your files, they're there. And it sounds like they're going to revamp it with the photos. The floating keyboard was really interesting. I think that suggests we're going to see some phablets, some new Windows Phone phablets. But just overall, tying all of these into an ecosystem where Skype is now built into Messenger, sort of the way Facebook was at one time in Windows Phone. And I think that'll serve, it seems like, as almost like their iMessage, sort of, so you can get your messages across platforms everywhere. Powered by Skype, but not necessarily inside of Skype.
One funny thing to me yesterday when they were showing on the HoloLens, you mentioning Skype made me think of it. So they show the woman walking and the Skype call's like floating next to her.
Yeah.
Where's the camera showing her to the other person?
Yeah, good question. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so unless there's a camera that they're coming out with a hover camera that's going to float with you.
Right. It comes out in front of you.
Yeah, there's going to be all these people walking around with quadcopters floating in front of them with cameras so they can do Skype calls.
Yeah.
But I'll take your call in a minute. I just have to launch the quad.
Just attach my camera.
Yeah, very, very, very tiny thing, but I was just like, wait a minute, how are they seeing her?
Yeah.
That doesn't work. But still, overall, yesterday was exciting. And Sasha Bahal has a question here about, asking what we thought of Windows 10, but also the question of, and where did Windows 9 go? We've heard rumors. Why it's not called Windows 9. I'll take this one.
Yeah, I think those were debunked, right? But we can tell the story.
The story is that there were a number of programs that were written to ignore anything like Windows 95, Windows 98, and that all those would have to be rewritten if they called it Windows 9. Now, some have debunked it, but I know enough about technology to go, it sounds kind of possible. So we don't know. I mean,
Microsoft's story is that it's such a big update that they want to go with Windows 10.
It still seems a little odd.
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
But I can see where they're coming from with this message, right? Like Windows 8 was trashed all over the place by people who liked Windows 7, and I think they want to put this like new, a breath of fresh air into Windows, and they're doing that with all the new features and tying it into a real ecosystem. And I think that's maybe why they went with Windows 10. It just sounds a lot sexier to me than Windows 9. Like.
This just crossed my mind as we were having this discussion. Do you think it has anything to do with marketing? OS 10, Windows 9. Oh, we're not quite where Mac is?
Yeah, it sounds like that. I mean, that would make sense.
Pure speculation, folks. Pure speculation. But it just dawned on me that would mean Windows would still sound like it was behind Mac.
Right.
I don't know. Possibility. Who knows? I think at this point OS 10 is just what they call it. I don't know if there ever will be an OS 11.
Yeah.
Who knows? And plus it wouldn't be quite as sexy with an OS XI.
Yeah, right.
Oh Lord, but no, you bring up some very good points about I think a lot of people had begun to think of Microsoft as boring. It wasn't necessarily that they really were; it just felt like it because they weren't hitting us in the face with anything that was massively innovative.
Mm-hmm.
And they changed that yesterday. I mean, and also the ecosystem. The fact that I could now potentially stream an Xbox game to a PC or a tablet. I still question that tablet part a lot. I really want to see the specifics on that.
Yeah, the hardware. Although Sony does it with their Xperias, so it's possible.
Bryson Franco just left a comment, and then Apple introduces OS 11 in June.
Yeah.
Knowing my luck, probably.
Well, that's actually a really good point because I think one of the things that Microsoft has struggled with in the past is being quick to these sort of updates. So while it discussed it yesterday, when is it actually going to hit consumers? And we know that they said some of this stuff, like Cortana on the desktop, I think, like 3 to 5 months, right? And that's just for the preview. And I think Google and Apple have been in the past a little more nimble to be like, okay, well, here's ours and it's out. Like, so for example, we don't have Siri on the desktop now, but that doesn't mean that Apple's not going to have it in June. So that's a good point.
Well, I do think
and Google already has, Google Now is already in Chrome. You can say okay, Google and get that going. But
no, HoloLens was definitely the one more thing yesterday. I mean, it was mind-boggling, and I really do hope it comes to market. I mean, we've seen too many times over the years where things have been promised and then they don't end up coming. This, to me, I find it so hilarious that this was announced in early 2015 when you go back to the Future 2 and Marty McFly, his son in 2015 was using a lens that was somewhat like this. So we're a little behind, but not by much.
Right.
I do think it was hilarious that they admitted that they've been hiding the work on this in the visitor center.
In the visitor center, right? The basement of the visitor center.
So all those people walking in
were like on top of one of Microsoft's biggest secrets.
Yeah, that just made me chuckle. It doesn't really mean anything, but hey, it makes me chuckle.
Right.
From Sasha Bahal, if you were to choose one of the three to get, which would you choose? Microsoft HoloLens, Oculus Rift, or Google Glass, and why?
Well, I've used the Oculus Rift. I just used the latest one at CES, and I really, really liked it. I thought it was amazing. So I think I'd go with that just because it's the one I've seen. But HoloLens looked awesome. I think they're kind of like different use cases in a little bit, in the sense that I saw the reports that HoloLens, you can see through it. It's augmented reality as well. But although I guess the Mars demo they had, you actually felt like you were on Mars where you weren't really seeing through the lens. But Oculus Rift, to me, was just incredibly immersive, and I remember at CES I was standing on an alien planet, looking an alien in the face, and I was like, whoa, this is like unreal. So, I don't know. I'd have to try HoloLens before I said it, but definitely one of those two over Google Glass. I've never really been impressed by Google Glass.
I haven't used any of the three. I think the only reason I would say HoloLens over Oculus Rift is simply because of the interactivity and the potential use cases for design and, like I said, the medical use cases and so on. But also as a gamer, I really, really want to try Oculus Rift. And I know I know everyone's going, but Sean, you were at CES. Again, folks, I don't get out while I'm at CES. Everyone comes back to our little room and goes, Sean, you wouldn't believe what we just saw. I'd love to see it myself. Too bad. Sit there and edit.
Yeah, and Oculus was hard at CES because you had to schedule appointments. So we actually went one day and scheduled the appointment for the following day. So it was a little
right. Yeah. So
but boy, is that cool! I can't wait to walk around like a like an MMO or something, one of these huge games with an Oculus Rift. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just excited that we're finally getting to this point. Now, until a little blue lady appears in front of me in a robe and tells me, your father, we worked together in the Clone Wars. All of a sudden, I can't think of the stupid line. But yes, until a little Princess Leia shows up in front of me, and tells me that I'm the only hope. I'm sorry, we're not in the future
We're
yet.
just not there yet, right?
No, we're not there yet. A little bit off topic, but kind of interesting from Bryson Franco. Mind-boggling question. Out of making deals with carriers, where do phone shops get their supplies? That's actually something that's crossed my mind as well at times.
We're talking like phone shops, like a mom-and-pop phone shop?
Yeah.
I think they buy them.
Yeah, but do they buy them directly from the manufacturer, or do they get them through a wholesale chain?
I would guess a wholesale chain. I think that's how they do it.
I think so too.
I think that's why you see people at CES as like buyers too, so they'll go check out the cases they want to put in their shops and stuff like that.
Speaking of that, did you notice, and maybe it was just me, I noticed a lot more buyers.
Yeah, that's what we said.
Yeah. And they were like mom and pop stores that I'd never heard of, or, they were computer repair shops.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, I was thrilled. It means the market's healthy, but it was just really puzzling to me. I saw so many more buyers this time.
Yeah, I think that's how they do it, though, through wholesale.
Yeah, I think so as well. Who knows? From David Nunez, what do you guys make of the HTC M9 leaks? I thought they were fairly legit until I saw the M9 Max leaks. Thanks.
Yeah, we just covered the M9 Max. Actually, I think
I think it's M9 Plus, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Same idea, though. I don't know what to think of them. I think HTC is going to have a busy Mobile World Congress in early March. They said that much, at least with their invites for the press conference. So I think it's about time we're going to see one of these, or maybe both. But if you remember when the Max came out, it was several months after the original one. So I think, and that was with the M7. So they didn't do a Max last year. So I'm not really sure what to think, except for I think we'll see new hardware from HTC next month.
Yeah, so do I. I just
March.
What exactly? Yeah, March. Time is flying by. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what HTC has up its sleeve. I mean, the M8 was a great phone.
Yeah.
It's going to be. They're going to have to go a long way for me to look at the M9 and go, "Wow, this is a massive upgrade." The M8 is awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to see Quad HD, and I'd like to see, I don't like HTC's done a lot with their camera, but I'm not sure I'm crazy about what they've done with the ultra pixel stuff, the duo camera setup. I think I'd like to see a really good image sensor on it that takes big pictures too. And if you look at things like, what was the other one that just came out, the HTC One I or the Desire I. It had a 13 megapixel camera, but it's not like one of the best cameras out there. It's kind of far from it. So I'd really like them to invest in a really nice camera on the back that's not ultra pixel. But we'll see.
From David Nunes, where is Joey? It's after CES and no Joey. Joey is coming back. Joey is just extremely busy. It's also, it's hard for us to get any three TechnoBuffalo people together at once because it's taking three people out of writing.
Gotta have stuff on the site.
Yeah, so honestly, I think this show's probably going to stick at two. I like it with three, but it's just it's more sensible with only two because that doesn't mean I'm pulling three people away from working on the site. But right. Joey's still around, I promise. Let's see here. What else have we got coming in? We got a bunch coming in here. From Brazen Franco, I can answer this. Why not stream desktop games to the Xbox? It makes so much more sense that way. Phil Spencer, after the event yesterday, while talking to the press, said they are investigating that. It's just not feasible yet, but they are looking into the possibility of doing that. So it's on Microsoft's radar.
Yeah, if you think about it, NVIDIA does that. They can do that. So the technology exists, right?
Yeah. It's just let's let them get something started, and then they can refine it.
I also think they probably. I mean, obviously they want to push PC games too, but I think they're trying here to sort of push this Xbox as part of the ecosystem to start.
Mm-hmm.
here's a reason, if you own an Xbox, here's a reason why you should buy a Windows PC also. And I get that you could do it both ways, but I don't think everybody's going out there and buying Windows gaming PCs because they can be expensive and stuff. But here's why you might buy a $300 Windows tablet too, because you can stream from your Xbox to it. That's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we shall see. From Sahal Raja, when do you think the HoloLens will become available for everyone? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say 2 years, but what do I know?
2 years is kind of what's been sticking in my head as well. Especially, I hadn't read about the fact they were having to wear battery packs to do the demos yesterday. So obviously they've got some work to do.
But I guess the ones on stage were legitimate, so I don't know. Like, why? But why weren't the press able to play with those? Because they look cooler.
I don't know. She may have had a battery pack hidden under her shirt.
Yeah, who knows?
Although I didn't see any wires running to it.
Right. No.
I was a little disappointed after she designed the quadcopter on stage, and they brought out the 3D printed one. I was like, okay, you're basically telling me that was not a live demo.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't like, I don't know.
Yeah, they implied it was a live demo, and now I'm like, okay, and it looks just like what you designed.
Yeah. 3D printers don't work that quickly.
Yeah. They could have brought something else out 3D print and said, she designed this earlier, and look what we were able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing out the exact same item, I thought was a little questionable, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Let's see here. From Off Topic from Sasha Bahal. Which movies and games are you looking forward to this year? Avengers: Age of Ultron, Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I'm kind of excited for Mad Max Fury Road. We'll see. I mean, from what I've heard, it's just like a 90-minute car chase. Imagine that from a Mad Max movie. Game-wise, honestly, I haven't heard much yet in gaming that's exciting me yet.
The Fable they showed yesterday looked pretty good.
Yeah.
It's called the full name. Microsoft showed it. And it was cross-platform, too, so PC and Xbox can play together. That looked neat. I don't know. I have so many games I need to catch up on that I haven't really, been looking forward to games, because there's already a lot of ones that I still want to play.
Oh, I have a stack of games I need to get through.
I've been playing Far Cry 4, as you know, and I think I'm probably 2 hours into the game.
Yeah,
I haven't really played it.
I've been playing a ton of Destiny, so
yeah.
I don't know if we're that excited for new stuff. We gotta get through the old stuff first.
Yeah.
Like crazy. Speaking of Far Cry 4 from Brazen Franco, what happened to the Twitch channel? It's been a long time since Joey's last session with Far Cry 4. Twitch, we're not done with it. It simply was a matter of things got extremely busy, then we got into the holidays, then we got into CES, and Brandon is actually the one who's managing the Twitch channel, and he and I have been talking about how to get it going again. It's not something we've abandoned. It's still on our radar. It's just been a matter of time, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice concept, but it's also, you're like, oh, I need to write 3 more articles or go play games for an hour. And yes, while we would love to go play games for an hour, you also all want articles on the site. So it's been a trade-off.
And videos have to be written and edited and filmed and all kinds of stuff.
Exactly. So the Twitch channel is not dead. It's just on a brief hiatus while we try to figure out our strategy around it a little bit better. Let's see here. Oh, lots of questions came in while doing that one. Interesting, from David Nunes. Sean Todd, what are the top 3 things you hate and the top 3 things you love about being a journalist, more specifically a technology journalist? Yeah, that's actually a really deep question.
I love writing editorials. I love playing with the gadgets, which often influences sort of what I want to write about for editorials. And I love meeting with people in the industry, and that means other journalists and all the PR people, because you don't see them all the time, but you interact over email a lot, But I'd say especially other journalists, it's great hanging out with people when you get dinner or something at a trade show. Top three things I hate. I'd say
And let's be careful there.
no, like I'd say like missing news. Like if for whatever reason I'm eating lunch and news hits and I just didn't see it or something.
That's never happened, Todd.
It always seems like every time I go to the bathroom, news hits. That's
every time. I swear you guys have a pressure plate in my seat because every time I get up to go to the restroom, my IMs go off.
Yeah. So one of those. Missing an event for some reason, like either we weren't on the list, but we should have been, or something like that. That can be frustrating. And the third, I like traveling too. Put that in the top 4 things. And I don't know. I can't think of many things that I hate because otherwise I wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. I mean, I definitely hate the number of emails we get. It's just part of life. But inbox 0 is a dream. It will never happen. Like Todd, I hate when we're not aware of a piece of news, when we should be. Even if we learn about 3 minutes later, it annoys me that we didn't have it at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of there's so much news at times. As for a third thing I hate, I'll come back on that. 3 things I love. I love the crew I work with. I love the company and the crew. I wouldn't be here. This is actually the longest I've ever worked for anyone other than myself.
Nice.
Because I had my comic book store for 15 and a half years, and I've been here for 5 years now. And before that, I think the longest I'd ever worked anywhere else was 2 years. And I only left that job because the magazine folded. Let's see, what else do I love? Travel. I mean, I don't get to travel nearly as much as some of the other guys. They all think I'm some sort of linchpin and important around here. But I do love to travel. I love seeing new sites. I'm having trouble coming up with a third love and a third hate. Playing with all the gadgets. That's always fun. I know what my third hate is. When we know about something and we can't discuss it.
Oh, yeah, that's tough.
It's not so much as I hate it as it's just annoying, and it's just part of the business. But we'll officially learn about something. You're like, and you can't say anything. I want to tell people.
I think they call that background. So like, if I'm meeting with company A and they're talking about one product and they're like, and just for some background, this one's coming out in 2 months. And that's kind of off the record. I mean, it's very much off the record. There's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah, exactly. The number of times we hear off the record and we're like, damn it.
Like, why'd you have to say that?
Why? You could have skipped saying that.
Yeah.
But no, I love this job. I love everyone I work with, even Todd.
Damn Todd.
Todd! No, actually, you know about Ralph's and my new theory, we blame everything that goes wrong on Brandon?
That's awesome.
Yeah, anything and everything that goes wrong, he and I just IM each other in all caps. Brandon! Even if Brandon's not there that day, even if he had nothing to do with it, we just blame everything on Brandon. Hey, it works. Good question from Brazen Franco. Will there be a review of the Zomi or Show Me, however you say that word, Mi Notes and Meizu MX4s? Probably not. The reason being simply because right now they're China only, so it's not really a market that we cater to, simply because they just don't read our site. And secondly, also being able to get them.
Yeah, if we can get them, we will. Meizu's a little easier. Show Me's a little more difficult unless we buy them. But.
Right, and that which is a possibility. But if a lot of people want to see us review those, let us know. And if there's enough of you out there, we can go out and buy one. But, for right now, it's just not certain that it's something we need to cover.
Yeah, we can pretty much sort of see the demand for these when we write news on them and stuff like that. And if people aren't clicking them, then we sort of think, well, is this something we want to review? And if we do, like, why do we want to spend that time if people don't seem to be interested? And so that's sort of how we judge what we review too.
Right, and it's not, even if we have to go out and buy, honestly, the financial cost is the smallest part of our consideration when we have to go out and buy a phone. It's also because we do have, our personal rule that phones must be used, for X number of days before we review them. So that's time consuming. Then there's also the time consumption of writing, shooting the photos. If we decide to do a video, then there's the video production.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of resources that go into a review. And if it's a phone that our customer, I call customers, readers, whatever you want to call them. If our readers are not showing an interest in that device, then it's not really worth all the resources that we sink into the review, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, we would love to review every phone out there, but I think also some of us would start to consider leaping off buildings. If we did review, hey, this new flip phone came in, could you review it?
Yeah.
Actually, then we would hire my father
to do the flip phone review.
And make him do the flip phones, because he refuses to use anything other than a flip phone. And I think it's slightly because he knows it drives me insane. But he got so excited when he got his last one. It's a Kia Ceres something. He's like, look, I got a new phone. Aren't you excited?
Flip phone.
Go away. Just go away.
Great.
Nothing against Kia Ceres. Just, it's a flip phone. Go away.
People love them.
Yeah, I know. From Eric Bromund. After making the Kinect look like the next advancement in video games, only to have it be a glorified piece of junk, how do you feel Microsoft will handle the HoloLens? That's actually a very good question.
Yeah, the thing is, Kinect was like one of the best-selling products Microsoft had when it launched, and it's the same guy that's doing HoloLens.
Well, when it launched, and then everyone realized, hey, there's no software.
Right. But I think, it was ahead of its time in a lot of ways. Not ahead of its time, but for consoles, it was sort of something different. And the same guy that did that's working on HoloLens, and he seems to be like, I don't know if you saw the press conference yesterday, or viewers out there, but this guy is like pretty dedicated, kind of mad scientist kind of guy, and I think it seems like he's the right one for the project, and hopefully, it's as good as Microsoft's making it out to be.
Okay, pet peeve time. You brought up the hair.
Yeah.
Or you just say you look like a mad scientist. To me, that's bringing up the hair. Okay, I'm all for self-expression, but someone really needs to stand off stage, and be it Microsoft, Apple, whoever, and go, you're about to go out on stage and represent our company.
Cut your hair.
Cut your hair. Tuck your shirt in.
Yeah.
If you want to wear a t-shirt, fine. But at least tuck your shirt in.
Yeah, just like...
And I just want to hire a barber to sit there and go, nope, you aren't going out with that hair.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Some of the hairdos we see on some of these things.
Yeah.
I swear.
But I think the HoloLens is sort of... I think Microsoft has some huge aspirations for it. Like, they believe this is, and some of the journalists that saw it yesterday seem to agree, that this is the next step in computing, that keyboard and mouse aren't where we're going to be in 10 years. And so if Microsoft's serious about that vision, then the HoloLens can't be a glorified piece of junk, because it's sort of their vision, right?
And I agree with that. I mean, if you look at the keyboard mouse interface, it's been around for going on 50 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It is time for a change. I think the problem has been, and we've tried doing touchscreen desktops and laptops, but who wants to sit here typing and then reach up, to do something? And okay, I need to do that. Okay, that's not practical.
Right.
But the HoloLens could change all that. I mean, if I'm manipulating shapes and objects in 3D space, that's interesting. Now, that being said, I also don't see myself typing out a full article like this. with
Right.
my hands in the air. That's not going to work.
Right.
But for a lot of things, yes, I can see where this would be a lot more interesting. Let's see here. From another one from Brazen Franco. Or someone who mainly uses mobile data for push notifications and reading mostly TV in my case. Is 4G that huge of a deal? I'm from Europe and they started deploying the network, but I don't see the appeal compared to 3G HSPA. There is a world of difference.
Yeah.
A world of difference. HSPA is not horrible, but you will see a definite difference with using LTE. Todd, any thoughts?
Oh yeah, I mean, especially if you're looking at streaming data and real music and stuff like that. Music works pretty well on HSPA, but if you're going, if you want to say stream a YouTube video, actually yesterday because I was using a Windows phone that I got excited about Microsoft, so I switched to Windows phone again. It's an unlocked international version, so I only get HSPA, and I was like loading a video, and I remember saying to myself just last night, like, this would have been loaded already on LTE, because I was thinking, oh, I can live with HSPA, but so there is a really big difference when it comes to streaming videos, downloading games and stuff like that. If you're in the airport, one of the things that drives me nuts is when I'm in an airport and I'm like, oh, I want to download that game before this flight, and I don't have a LTE connection. I'm like, oh, that's not going to happen. So for stuff like that, there's a huge difference. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and put this question out there, and we'll answer it nicely. From David Nunez, how do you guys feel when you are at a Microsoft/Apple event and they typically go to the Verge website for their demos? No offense to other sites, but I consider them your biggest competitions when news hits. Those are the two sites I choose between. Thanks. It kills a little bit of ourselves. Very clear, we have no grudge against The Verge. We have no grudge against any other site. Would we like to see TechnoBuffalo up on the screen? You betcha.
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, The Verge had that story about Spartan, and that's what Microsoft was talking about. Is, I think, for all I know, exclusive to The Verge. They had their own sources, so that's why it was there. And good.
Yeah, exactly. So no, it typically leads to a joke or two, but no, it's the nature of the beast. It could be Engadget, it could be The Verge. Would we rather see TechnoBuffalo up there? Of course we would. But and someday we'll work our way up there.
Yeah.
And we will rule the world. So no, it doesn't bother us.
Another thing too, it's worth mentioning. It goes back to what I love about technology journalism is a lot of times, like, I might see Android Central had a thing in Times Square. They had like a big advertisement, which was awesome, and we have friends there, and I was like, oh, that's amazing, So it's not as like we don't look at them as like, oh, we got to take these guys down, like we hate them. Like it's really great sometimes to see friends quoted elsewhere and stuff like that.
One of the highlights for me of CES was I finally got to meet Phil from Android Central.
Yeah, there you go.
I love Phil. I think he's great. But I'd never gotten to meet him in person. To me, that was one of the highlights. It's a big world of technology, but it's actually a very small world of journalists that work on it. And so, we could walk around hating each other, but it'd be pointless. And there are times where we help each other.
Yeah. Sure.
Somebody for some reason gets a press release that another person didn't get. It's not confidential. Okay, fine. Here you go. Let me help you out, and then you return the favor.
Right.
So it's more almost like a brothership.
Yeah, I'd say so.
We're in the trenches together, man.
Yeah.
We got to report on these phones. From Sachin Bahal, hey Sean, what would you like to see in the OnePlus 2? I really don't know what I would change. I really, really love the OnePlus One.
I'd say a better screen, Quad HD, and just the quality of that screen to me isn't that great. I think it's really bright. The viewing angles aren't great. That's sort of one of my biggest complaints about the OnePlus One, I think.
I am a little concerned, though. I've had trouble charging it this week. I'm not sure what's going on. I got I'm not sure. I'm going to try a different charger and see if maybe it's the charger doing it, but
Mm-hmm.
little concerning. Um,
Expandable storage too. I'd probably throw that in.
yeah, expandable storage would be nice. But definitely, I think a better screen. I think that would be my big one. But otherwise, I really like the current design of the OnePlus One.
Mm-hmm.
We have got 2 questions left. If no one else asks any, for the first time ever, we may get through every question.
All right.
So here we go.
Now we're gonna get more.
I know. From Brazen and Franco, what would you choose between current VR sets and complete sci-fi ones which involve full neural immersion?
I would choose current because I'm afraid of that. I think.
Yeah, I don't want to go too matrixy. I don't want anything like plugging into the back of my neck. Anything that requires a surgical implant of a port,
Right.
no.
Matrix.
I'm very excited for what's currently out there and what's been talked about and what's coming. I just want to see them refine more, but I don't think anytime you say the word neural, I'm just going to go, ooh, no.
Yeah.
And the last one, we already touched on this a little bit, from Tyler Lacoste. What do you think about the whole Windows 10 connection to the Xbox One? I think it's needed to happen for a long time, and I'm glad it's finally happening.
Yeah, I agree. I love it.
Yeah. So we'll see how it works out, but I
want to
think
see Cortana on the Xbox One. Because saying "Hey, Xbox" is okay, but if you can, she's got to make her way there. It wouldn't make sense to me if she wasn't. But if you're sitting there and you can get your updates, if you leave it on, you want it, like you're on your home screen, that'd be pretty sweet.
Brazen Franco, I'm not counting your question because it came in after I said we were almost done.
I did. So the question is, your Nexus 6 backplates start to peel off. I saw reports that was happening. I haven't seen it myself, but that's just me.
Yep, I
don't have my own. So.
Okay, the questions box is empty.
All right, there we go.
Well, thank you all for.
One just came in.
Too bad.
Sorry.
Thank you all for joining us as always. As always, you can find us on the iTunes Store where you can rate and review us, and we do appreciate that because it does help out the show. You can subscribe via RSS feed. You can find us on the Stitcher app. You can find us on Pocket Casts. Anywhere there are podcasts, you can find the TechnoBuffalo Show. Until next week, I'm Sean Ani. I'm the editor-in-chief of TechnoBuffalo. I've been joined by the executive editor of Mobile, Todd Hazelton.
Bye, everybody.
Till then, take it easy, everyone. Talk to you later.